Okay, I'm continuing my series on memories that I have that are specifically going into donations now as we go to move. And this book is a really important one, but you can see it's pretty large, definitely not something that is going to be easy to store long term. And it's a very old book. This is 1967, but this copy was given to me as a birthday present when I turned 8 years old, so February 25th. 1984 by my father's mother, by Grandma Euphemia. And you can see she wrote in here, happy birthday, which I remember that this was the birthday, but it does say it in there. And this book is, I love this book when I was a kid, and it's one of the reasons why, even though it's a children's book, I still have it now, all these years later. I mean, it's been 36 years, right, since I was given this book, and it's still in perfect condition, even though I've read the entire thing many times because I took such good care of it. But this entire book is just 400 commonly asked questions by children in the 1960s, obviously, and answers to those things, right? Do raccoons really wash their food? Where do elephants originate? Are a buffalo and a bison the same thing? Like all kinds of really interesting things. And this book, certainly, I was already a curious kid at 8 years old, but this book had a lot to do with encouraging me to learn more and research more. And when even now, my wife's family refers to my desire to go to Wikipedia or somewhere and research things and look up topics on anything that comes up. Anytime there's a question, I go look it up. They refer to it as Scott Allen Millering things. It's actually a verb for, looking up and learning things like this. And so this book is certainly one of those things that encouraged me. I also grew up with encyclopedias, and that did much of the same kind of thing. But this book was so aimed at children and so explanatory. And I always remember, I'm sure, many of the things here, this is where I learned them, but I don't really remember them specifically from this. The one thing I always remember having learned from this book is, what is the difference between a rabbit and a hare? And that has stuck with me all these years, that at 8 years old, I learned that from this book, and I still know. And I love that I just turned to this page, what is Wall Street? And I went on to work on Wall Street for a very large portion of my career. So sadly, we'll not be keeping this book, and my children have shown no interest in it whatsoever, but a very important part of my childhood and a very strong memory for me, and something that I've always felt was very, very special. Thanks for joining me.